Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, when life gives you lemons, well, you get a FruitFracker, of course. Two guys who are changing the bartending business just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you've watched this show for any length of time, you know I love to feature disruptors when I can. Some people see the world differently. Some people say, well, that's the way it's always been done. And other people say, why would they do it that way? Two guys who are disruptors, Duryea Johnson, he goes by DJ, and John Frost, both with FruitFracker. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Jeff.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you start, Duryea? What is a FruitFracker?
Well, a FruitFracker is a slicer, two-cut slicer that I went to John and gave him the idea, and he thought I was crazy, of course. and he did his research, and he came back. He's like, well, you know what? I think you're not crazy. I think that might work. So,
well, let's go to a wide shot, and I want you to demonstrate for us what does a FruitFracker do, and how is it different than what you've done in the past?
All right.
Well, I'll kind of talk through it as he's doing the demo.
Yeah,
so basically, what I found was that every bar and restaurant, they have these big expensive slicers, or they use knives, and they steal them out of the kitchen. Nobody ever sharpens them. They get thrown away. And so Duryea brought the problem to me, which was, even with the big expensive slicer, they're still having to do the middle cut to put the fruit on the edge of the glass. And so that was the problem we were trying to solve when we started out. And so the first thing we really did was kind of looked at two issues. One is there something that's already doing that? And then number two is, does somebody own the rights to do that? Because I don't want to start a company, don't want to get into anything if I'm going to violate anybody's patents or anybody's IP. So we found that nobody owned the utility patent to cut fruit twice, to cut it into a wedge, do the middle cut. So then the next challenge was, well, how do we make this work? Because if you think about it, it's like trying to get inside the fruit. Did we go fruit first? Did we go blades first? How do you hold the fruit in place? So we went through all kinds of engineering challenges. And ultimately, we solved the problem by basically finding a way to hold the fruit in place. So we created the base, which you can see there. So,
Duryea, go ahead and
go ahead and do that. So basically, and I'll just kind of explain the process. So we put the fruit down in there, and we have the blades with a little point that opens up the fruit, and it goes through and does 8 equal slices of fruit in 8 seconds. And then we have the secondary stage, which is now that I've got the fruit held in place, I have a post, this vertical post that has horizontal blades, and then I just put it down in between the wedges and spin it. Now I've got that middle cut for my fruit to put on the edge of the glass. So in 8 seconds, I've got 8 pieces of fruit ready to go on a glass.
Outstanding. Okay, we're going to pull up the website, and as we scroll down the website, how old is the company? How long have you been doing this now?
We actually, the company, when we did the first patent search, was about 2.5, 3 years ago. And so I incorporated it. We started it. We did the patent search, filed for the patents, and then we started just earlier this year. We paid for the tooling, so these things get made somewhat in the U.S. and some offshore. So we paid for the tooling, and then we started receiving the product in late spring this year. So we've only been really selling the product for 4 or 5 months.
Okay, we've got some video that we're going to show, and I want you to kind of narrate this. This was a little demo video that was on your website. Did you instantly see the full design when you started to work on this?
No, we struggled because we looked at a lot of things to where the challenge was having the fruit in place. So we had these like the big canister models, that you can go, they're $200-$300, and so we were thinking, okay, we can do the canister to cut the fruit, and then have the fruit and stay inside this canister, and then figure out some way to pop a blade out and spin it.
Right.
Well, the challenge that we had there was that the fruit never fell out because of the juice. It just got to stay in the canister. So then you're sort of poking around in there, and that didn't work. So it took us, several iterations from the engineering standpoint. So we were doing 3D printing. We were using just like off the shelf, going to find like the apple slicers, apple cores, and then we try to modify those. And so we went through a lot of engineering challenges to come up with this model, and this model really works and works well.
And DJ, you guys have known each other for over 50 years?
Pretty much. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Telling our age now.
Come on, Jeff.
You guys grew up together?
Yeah, we grew up in Ohio together.
Yeah.
So we right outside of Dayton. It was right at Patterson Air Force Base, and so I ended up there as a kid, and he ended up there as a kid through the Air Force, and we met in seventh grade.
Seventh grade.
Okay, and you were telling me before we went on that DJ had the idea, but you were resistant for a while.
Yeah, I said he brought up he kept saying, "I'm sick of cutting fruit." And I'm like, "Okay, what do you mean?" And so. For a while, there's something out there. Come on, somebody solved this problem by now. I just kept, I was, being more of a skeptic than anything else. Just I want to make sure I proved to myself. And so I took him, I took him seriously, but it was just like every now and then I'd go look, so I couldn't find anything. So, but then I finally just focused and said, let me see. So I went, everywhere I could, kitchen gadgets, all kinds of websites. Didn't find anything. Did that middle cut. And so it's like, okay, well, then there isn't anything out there.
And when you show it to bartenders for the first time, do they instantly get it?
Oh yeah, I mean we get. It's funny because we did a show in Houston in August or whatever, like the Texas bar restaurant show, and the cussing that went on from these bartenders, they're like, oh my God. And just their response was, wow, you just don't know how sick I am of doing this. And so.
And it solves a lot of problems, including safety issues for bartenders. You guys made a series of videos. Let's go ahead and roll that video now.
Employee injuries cost each U.S. full-service restaurant an average of $45,000 per year. Since 1980, 22% of back-of-the-house injuries in restaurants are due to sharp objects cutting the skin. Many of these accidents occur while using knives to prepare food. The FruitFracker improves employee safety. The slicing blades are safely contained away from the employee's hands. Not only is it safe, the FruitFracker is fast, consistent, easy to clean, and proudly made right here in the USA. Order your FruitFracker today at FruitFracker.com.
Another problem that one of your videos addresses is food waste. DJ, you want to talk about that?
Yes. You'd be surprised. When I worked at American Airlines Center, it was amazing how much fruit they cut. Of course, they have to, you have 15,000 people going to a basketball game and everything. It's amazing how much fruit manufacturing people and restaurants and bars, because at the beginning, you don't know. You try to figure out, how much there is, but at the end of the day, you can't, leave it anywhere.
Right.
So you can't put it in. So, it's not fresh fruit. So I think John was telling me. John, weren't you telling me about how many?
Yeah, there was I talked to one of the big food company distributors, and they said there's 160,000 pounds of fruit cut every day in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and over a fourth of that is thrown away.
Wow.
So it's quite a bit of waste.
And very efficient. So you did that in about 8 seconds. What's a typical bartender spend on this task?
Well, we've timed bartenders racing us, and with them not cutting themselves, the quickest we've seen is 45 seconds to a minute. You'll find that some are just like they're just they're just going like crazy doing it, but the entire time they got the knife going back and forth across their hands, and just this is meant to eliminate that. So it's time, it's safety, cleanliness as well, because like I said. Most bars, the knife they find is somewhere back in the kitchen, and because they threw the other one away and they never sharpened, the ones they were using.
Yes. We've got about 2 minutes left, so I'll give you both some final thoughts. What do you need to market this thing? What do you need for this thing to take off?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, the main thing is awareness. I mean, and I think shows like this, and we appreciate you having us on. It takes a lot of money. There's a lot of things going on. So trying to get people's attention, trying to get them to pay attention to what you're doing, understanding the value of what you're bringing to the table. That's the noise out there is how do you work your way through the clutter and find the answer and find somebody that goes, oh, and I need that. We get great responses when we show it live, sure. But it's how do you go scalable? So that's the challenge.
Absolutely. Yeah. DJ, we'll give you the final word. What would you like to leave people with?
It's just not a slicer. It alleviates a lot of cutting with a single knife at nighttime, like our bartenders do, and it's something unique and it's fast.
Outstanding. Well, you guys have been amazing guests. Thank you, and good luck with that.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You bet. We're going to end with the website, which is FruitFracker.com. Thanks so much for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.